Hello everyone, welcome to Recycle Bin Sticker TV. I'm your host, Reginald Whibbey, aka the organizer of recycling, and today we're going to be talking about robotics and its impact on recycling. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the more primary areas of robotics and recycling, which is the home and the multifamily housing. So you have houses, those subdivisions, and each and everybody living in their own separate housing. Then you have multifamily housing, which is people living in apartments, duplexes, fourplexes, eightplexes, any number plex. So in those, the main thing we want to do is we want to get robotics inside the house first, and we're going to transform that robot into a recycle bin. That way that, when I was growing up, we had trash day, and we would go around the house and everybody would get their trash. We'd all bale it up, and then we'll put it in the big trash can, and then we'll take the big trash can outside. So the first influence of robotics will have to be the robot needs to go around, needs to be able to travel in and around the house, especially because most of we're going to be making these for rich people and people who got the money to buy this type of thing, because that's who I cater to. So the robot going to be going around from room to room, and then it'll be able to, it'll still have to have somebody bag up all that material and then put it in the recycle bin that's outside. And that recycle bin that's outside, it ain't gonna need nobody to push to the curb like we gotta do right now, push that thing into the curb. You'll be able to just sit back and watch the robot move to the curb. And then we'll have the robotic dumpster trucks, because I know you see right now you got trash men coming around, and then people who are recycling, but they come around in a trash dumpster truck. So that right there is going to have to be roboticized too. We already made a blog on what that would eventually look like, because we're actually going to be the company that builds one of these things and sells these things and uses these things. So you got the bin in the house is running around, ain't nobody riding. You got the one outside going to the curb, ain't nobody pushing it. You got the one coming picking it up from around the big subdivisions, whether they be house subdivisions or multifamily subdivisions, and it don't need nobody because it's driving itself. And then you get to the industrial sorting plant, and then all that's going on, and you ain't got no robots. You got robots in there, and you ain't got no people sorting. Because I know, I was watching a video on YouTube with these whole bunch of Mexicans in this recycling sorting plant, picking out the paper, metal, plastic, glass, putting them in their own bins. Well, we're going to have to replace that human with a robot. And so that is how the housing will be impacted by robotics. So how will businesses be impacted by robotics? We'll be designing specialized bins for the storefronts. Because the little small businesses, they want to recycle too, and they're going to need their own specialized bin. Then you got to have the big industrial bins that are recycling the byproducts of manufacturing things. And of course, they're all going to be robotic. Ain't nobody going to be pushing them when it comes by to pick it up. Ain't nobody going to be driving it off. And for the really big industrial plants, they're going to have one for inside, and that's going to dump it to the outside, and that's going to be their bin. But that bin that's outside, it will go directly to the sorting plant, because big industrial places are freaking huge. So that is how robots will be impacting that. As far as outside, so let's say how we're going to get the government to use the robots. So as far as offices are concerned, that's just like businesses. So way to go, government. You looped in with businesses. So but the community, we have designed a robot that is called a community collector. It just goes around your neighborhoods, your highways, your parks, and just picking up what we call waste. Because 95% of this stuff is going to be paper, metal, plastic, glass, and we all know we love to recycle that. So the community organizer is going to be going around there, and it's going to be doing that all by itself. Going to have onboard memory, going to be able to move by itself, going to be able to pick up things by itself, going to have a little brain inside of us so it'll be able to differentiate. And that is how we're going to be recycling with the community. So robotics and its impact on recycling is pretty straightforward. But I love to go to space. Everybody know by now, it's my dream to have a manufacturing plant on Mars. And if you didn't know, now you know. Gary Vaynerchuk's dream is to own the jets. My dream is to have a manufacturing plant on Mars that is making stuff out of recycled materials and also recycling and sorting materials on Mars. So with that is, we'll have to have surface to the L5 district. If you don't know what the L5 districts are, go ahead and check out Wikipedia because they got that information. And we'll also have some starfall points on the moon, and then we'll have points on Mars. So those things right there, from the surface to the L5 districts, from the surface to the moon, is going to be these nice big flying containers that can lead from the surface of a planet to the outer space of a planet. Yes, and it's going to be doing it with an AI, with robotics, all by itself. And as you know, we'll be able to have manufacturing plants in space that are fully robotic. So that is robotics' impact on recycling. And just to sum it all up, I remember when I first thought about this, it was like the summer of 2008, I think it was, and this is the way I describe it. The bin gonna be going to the curb, but ain't nobody pushing it. It's gonna be getting picked up by a dump truck, but ain't nobody driving it. It's going to be going to the L5 districts, but ain't nobody flying. It's going to get sorted, but ain't nobody doing the sorting. It's going to be all robotic. And that is robotics' impact on recycling. Thank you. And together, me and you, we are organizing recycling.